Darren goes first.
We're already off to a fucking awesome start.
Darren, go first.
Are we saying like the band name or like our
My name is Cassandra Russin.
The question I was asked is, what is my name? My name is Caleb Russin.
The question I was also asked was, what is my name? My name is William Henry Lee.
The question I was asked was, what's my name? My name is Darren McCovey.
Brain Dead Reject.
The name of the band is Brain Dead Rejects.
Brain Dead Rejects.
I got high in math class, and I decided that the acronym BDR itself sounded cool together, but I didn't know what to put it as. Originally, it was gonna be like, I don't know, it was gonna be like something I knew with like reject or something, but I just kind of remember like just being like, oh, that sounds interesting. I looked it up, and there was no band that had the same name, so I was like, that could work.
Yeah,
definitely wanted an acronym. That's what I think our high priority
kind of like DRI?
Yeah.
Like DRI, MDC, TSO. I mean, there's so many acronyms, and I just feel like they're the ones that stick the most to me. So I like the idea of an
MCR.
acronym. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gerard Way's my dad.
Exactly, mine too.
We are not the Dead Rejects, by the way.
Yeah, we're not the Dead Rejects.
And we are not Brain Dead either.
Yeah, there's a band called Brain Dead, and there's a band called the Dead Rejects.
We're also not rejected in society. We actually have very high social status.
We live like kings.
We live like kings. Actually, except for Cassie, she's bourgeoisie. We're nobility.
Bourgeois pig!
Bourgeois pig. We're nobility. We're high nobility.
Scum.
And we play for King Louis III.
I mean, BDR's better than our old name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Our old name
actually,
was stupid.
BDR came as a replacement name. It wasn't our original name.
Yeah.
What was your old name?
Killing February.
I don't know what February did wrong. Free my boy February.
You know, it's a mystery to me.
Ooh.
Usually people say BDR sucks.
Erotic. Sexy.
Bad, but I think
Words that we would use to describe our band are.
as a general like umbrella word is punk, because we get a lot of influences from a lot of the time span of punk. We have a song that could be from the 90s, like I Got High and Listened to Sum 41, but also more hardcore songs like Endless Pool, I guess. Yeah.
And I feel like our song, like Brain Dead Rejects, definitely like it almost is a little crusty to me because of how like disoriented it is, and so that's why I feel like on our first EP we have a good variety of music because we kind of delve into the different subgenres of the punk as a whole.
I feel like we're a very versatile sound, especially on the first album. We have a lot of songs that kind of delve into the more 80s hardcore, and then we have a lot more rhythm, kind of Fugazi sounding songs, and also the new songs we've been writing. I mean, our songwriting dynamic is getting better, at least in my opinion, because we're staying kind of to our hardcore roots and also bringing a more rhythmic aspect to punk. And there's this one journalist from fucking Sweden, or what was her name? I completely forgot her name. But we were in some kind of punk journal.
Oh, the Australian one?
Yeah,
It's a zine.
Yeah.
Oh, it was New Zealand?
New Zealand or some country that's not from America.
Very American.
Yeah, that's the most American statement I've ever made.
But
what did she describe our sound as? Oh, some of our non-punky sounds. Like for a punk band, they have a lot of non-punky sounds.
Yeah, mentioning how sometimes we like to be a little ska.
oh yeah.
The one ska bit we have in like a single
Ska's
song.
have been good since Operation Ivy.
It's like we have kind of this mixture of things. It's interesting to me. I observe it as like at its core, yes, we have songs that are, like Caleb said, hardcore, and just sticking to that very much the 80s hardcore. Like Minor Threat is a huge inspiration
Very much.
for like what we want to sound like, because
love
a bunch of our
Eureka.
cover songs that we've done at like live shows have been Minor Threat songs, and they're a huge inspiration for how our style and how we want to how we play our music. And we also have thrown in a more of like a rhythmic dynamic to a lot of it, which is the help of only a lot of this guy, because this guy's like
I didn't
bass
listen
wizard.
to punk. I did not listen to punk before I joined this band. I was strictly alternative.
We grabbed
rock.
an indie kid and threw him in a punk band and said,
I met him at a critic
see
show.
what happens.
I
Yeah.
met Darren at a critic show, and then
it's like what, last year?
yeah,
Yeah, like early last year.
he's like, "Do you like Minor Threat?" I'm like, "Do you like Interpol?"
I just didn't even know who that was. I don't
do you like
think.
the Arctic Monkeys? Yeah.
I knew who they were, but you said Interpol.
Actually,
like,
a lot of my bass lines, ironically, are heavily influenced by the Strokes and the Arctic Monkeys, and especially a lot of funk, like Chick, like Good Time. Boom, 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 boom,
Oh, yeah.
boom, 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 boom. Just a lot of funk.
That's why I feel like he's the perfect addition, because what did I listen to growing up? Like the Arctic Monkeys and the Strokes plus the punk, and then always kept it funky. And to this day, you know, I come from the Bay Area, right? And so we got Amp Banks, we got the Dangerous Crew. They like to keep it funky. So I always appreciate having a nice strong bass line even in a punk song.
I also appreciate.
Unless the girl from New Zealand called my bass lines root noted.
Which is just not. This is weird. Let's not get into that. You just have
the
beams
magazine
That's a taboo
thing was,
subject.
Was,
Taboo
was
subject.
just like a quick thing that happened, and we were like,
They used a hard ass picture of us though.
they
used a hard ass-
they used the white shirt incident one.
Yeah,
yeah.
the white
Savage
shirt
Henry's.
incident of Savage Henry's.
Yeah, it was one show. We wore she wore a different color, but then three of us
Highlighter.
wore white T-shirts, black pants, and black shoes. Somehow, it was completely unplanned.
Yeah.
We didn't even know until he took his shirt off.
We
his sweater
also
off,
at that
and
time
we're like,
all had the same haircut.
yeah,
Oh
we did.
yeah,
we
we
also
like
had
the
the same
K-pop
haircut.
Hey,
the
the
K-pop haircut.
What did it was the dude from Pit Junkies said my haircut was a
Oh.
K-pop haircut.
Yeah.
Was it Scott from the Pit Junkies?
It was either Scott or Noah.
Yeah.
Why do you guys play punk music?
We play punk music because it's like you don't have to be good.
That's really mean to everyone in the band.
I'm just joking.
I love power chords.
That's
I
for
love
me.
Power chords.
No, that's literally speaking on me, because for a vocalist, I could never do any other vocal. The only one that works for me is punk, because you don't have to sound like a real vocalist. That's my take. Everybody else can have a different opinion.
I feel like the historical context of the band was me and Darren doing a guitar and drum together without anyone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like for what I can play, which is very easy power chords more or less, punk is the perfect avenue to make our music. Plus, it can explore a wide range of genres too.
I wouldn't say simplicity is also a bad
ideas.
thing, because Caleb is a great songwriter and he uses a lot of power chords, and especially a lot of popular bands like even the Arctic Monkeys. Nirvana is probably the best example of using power chords and writing beautiful, amazing melodies with them. And a lot of people label it as bad music simply because it's simple and there's not a lot of complexity within the songwriting, and I think that's the farthest from the truth. I don't think you need to be particularly amazing musician to be a good songwriter, and I think that really attributes to punk, because it's a lot more about the energy. Because I remember when I first joined the band, I was like, fuck, I gotta dress punk now, and Darren was like, hey buddy, it's not about the style, it's about the mentality.
I
And
mean,
was like,
I dress like an old man,
Yeah.
and I'm over here playing hardcore
Yeah,
beats
and
on my drums.
And then my friend Aaron, who's in the critics, described us as like caricatures because we all have such different styles.
Yeah, very much caricatures.
Yeah.
It's just like, and for me, it's the drumming part of this is insanely fun. It's a lot of it's great, and you feel good because a lot of the stuff that you're contributing to a song that's being written about something that you agree with, like, you know, the struggles of all of us are, you know. I think three of us are. You're in high school still.
Yeah.
But 3 of us are working, you know, minimum wage jobs and are always struggling with having little to no money, and it's
Very
frustrating.
broke band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We barely had enough money to scrape together our EP. It was like we had to like, I think we had to like borrow from each other or something.
Yeah.
For some of that, but it's
Do what you gotta do
it's
to
a
make it
great
work.
thing to send, because I feel like you're advocating for, you know, our generation, because of, you know, the financial disadvantage we've been put
Hey,
at.
you want to buy a house? Give me your fucking kidney.
That's
Give
exactly
me
what
your
I
fucking
mean.
kidney.
Like, I saw something recently. It was like, most people of our generation will have to inherit a house from their parents when they pass away to actually ever be able to own a house. And I don't know, just being able to have some kind of outlet at the frustration of a lot of just this world's issues and its really fucked up treatment of a lot of different people. It's just good to be able to be part of something that's supporting an opposition to the system and kind of just the stuff that tries to like hold us down. It just feels good to just punch it back. But
And once again, it is really fun to
Yeah.
play.
It
It's
is
just
fun.
really fun.
It's the kind of music that I feel like completely makes me feel free, and then I can dance to, and just like I don't even know what I look like off stage. On stage, like it just comes out, like the energy, the adrenaline. It's really just fun.
yeah,
Um,
time of our lives.
I think with the introduction of technology and especially social media, the music scene has changed from more album record oriented and labels and whatnot, having like back 30 years ago, if you wanted to make it, you had to sign to a label to get your stuff out. And now with streaming services, it's all about playing algorithms. So I think technology is probably the number one proprietor of changing the music scene, because it's less about making a good album and pitching that to a record label executive, and more about playing an algorithm, like a Spotify algorithm. What playlist do I want to get on? Let's drop singles instead of albums, because those are easier to get on playlist and whatnot. So I think maybe I think rather than punk, it's kind of umbrellaed the entirety of music as a whole. And our generation is one of the first to kind of grow up in that kind of technology-oriented world. So I think it's had probably one of the greatest impacts, on society ever, period, Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really bored.
Yeah.
And doing this alleviates, going to live shows and playing live shows alleviates a lot of boredom of our generation.
I never see people on phones at live shows.
I know.
Yeah.
Other than recording.
Other than recording, or it's just seemed like live shows have become kind of come back in a way, as a way of to let out just the absolute boredom that a lot of us experience.
And I feel especially in this like small town, it's one of the biggest activities we personally that I get to go out and do, because like I said before, coming from a place where there's a lot more going on, you can go to like an amusement park if you wanted to have fun, like here you gotta go out of the fucking way to do that, So like having like the adrenaline rushes from music, and there's a good amount of different music scenes going on here too, not just punk.
Yeah, it's
so
huge here now.
The fact that we're getting all of these venues and everybody's like, it seems like it's kind of starting to kick off like really good right now after COVID. And
well, last year the scene around here just seemed to explode with like there was new bands every week that I'm seeing on Instagram popping up, and this is like from Eureka, from Arcata. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
People are like starting to just go crazy and make music.
The only thing us Tucky boys got is the Critics.
And you got, the Dirty Rats came out of there, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
How long has your band been together?
Since 2022?
Yeah.
Summer of 2022?
Yeah, it was started as me and Darren. We
Under
made
Killing February.
3 songs.
Yeah.
It was Endless Pool, I Got High and Listened to Sum 41.
And New Friend.
And I personally hate how I structured those songs, because I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Neither of us. We were just getting high and playing stupid punk, like trying to form some fucking punk songs. And, it took us a good few months to even figure out, like, to finish one of them.
Yeah, we called them Song 1, Song 2.
And Song 3, yeah. And that was great, because...
Song 2.
Blur is better than Oasis, but
No,
yeah,
it's
as
not.
you were saying,
No,
as
it's
you were
not.
saying,
Oh,
as
yeah,
you were
yeah.
saying.
No, it's not.
As you were saying.
Oh, and then after they had these songs, and like Endless Pool was written by Caleb, the guitar and the lyrics and everything, and then Darren had Sum 41 completely written, and then they were just a guitar and drums and everything. And I was all like, what if I hop on and do fucking?
What if I
just?
Do you want to hear my
Get
cipher?
her in the booth.
What if I just go ooh for a minute and see what happens, And then I ended up writing song 3, which I we called let me see.
New Friend?
Yeah, but that's the short version. It's new friend, new phrase, new clothes, new phase. Yeah. And then I wrote that about a friend I used to have, and I feel like
That
ever
bitch.
since then,
Yeah,
that bitch I used to know. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, the
It's a
old-
diss track.
old
It's actually a
band.
diss track.
It's
Yeah.
a diss track, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And once I feel like once it became the 3 of us, we started like really starting to actually, and then we wrote a couple more songs.
Up to song like 7.
Yeah.
When we had prototype names. I
Yeah,
guess.
prototype. And then we would also have like double practices with Vermin too.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But then when did Will join? How
like
many months?
May 2023, I think. It was after their first split came out.
Yeah, I feel like it was 2,
Right, it
3
was
live shows without
Should we
him.
explain
It
the
was
lore?
one. It was the first Savage Henry show, and then he joined before the Rampart one.
Yeah.
In last May.
Plus, we can't ignore the Arts Alive show.
Oh, our
Or
first
played,
one.
yeah.
Our really very first one.
Yeah, that was in
That was-
October, right?
Fuck, yeah, that was October
Yeah.
of 22, I think.
In
Yep.
front of the Works record
In front
store.
of the Works record store. That one was
Arts
legendary.
Alive.
That was
We had,
funny.
what was it? Council of Vermin opened.
Yeah.
Council of Vermin opened,
Shirtless.
and then we had the Brain Dead Rejects. Oh, but it was Killing February. Sorry. And then they went on, and then we had 99 Downtown headlining for that one.
Shout out.
Yeah.
When I'm dead and
We-
gone,
we
please
grabbed-
meet me in October.
And that was our first real start. And then we got our works out. We got our music out enough to where we made it into a venue. And then Will joined us shortly after. And then the music we started to Jamaican then has changed
I started
a lot.
cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The introduction of Will is when we kind of became like
started-
serious about it. I think.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think so too.
After we got a full band together, it was like that was when we were like, okay, we're
It became a
actually
business at that point, I think.
And we actually got like real venues instead of just
Yeah.
plugging into a
I
single
started giving
outlet
them all
instead of a
back
record
massages
store.
before every gig. So everyone was nice and relaxed, you know.
Yeah,
It's like,
totally.
Gary, come here.
Just give me the happy
Don't
ending.
stress. Oh,
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
What bands inspired you?
Mind Threat.
Firstly, yeah, very much. Minor
Talking
Threat has inspired us a
all of us
lot.
or individually?
Both.
I mean, I think
You can spit your shit.
yeah, no,
Fine,
yeah.
When your time comes.
Honestly, like for me vocally, I take a lot of inspiration from Ian McKay from Minor Threat. Suicidal Tendencies. I love they're slow and then they're fast and then the way I feel like I introduced that a little bit in Christmas Trees on Fire, but then also I feel like a better example is actually I Got High and Listened to Sum 41. From when we go away from the little ska, breakaway, and then come back really, really fast. I love that part, and then the repeated the same words over and over again, but it gets the pit going, and I think that was a big Suicidal Tendencies for me. But of course, I listened to a lot of punk, mostly New York hardcore. I was into the 80s scene the most, but I think that's what makes me the individual one is I almost primarily listen to the 80s hardcore. And I think I'm the only one who listened to that one, right? Yeah.
I love the 90s skate punk,
Oh,
no
me too.
effects, no
Yeah.
use for a name, and also leaning into the pop punk with Green Day.
Yeah,
and, like,
Sum
41
41 even
and
dare
Sum
say.
41, yeah. Even though I would have kicked myself 3 years ago for saying that.
Yeah, right.
It does influence me, especially titularly on I Got High and Listened to Sum 41.
Yeah, it's
that was
implied.
meant to be a pop punk song.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like a lot of our early ones were kind of almost joke songs.
Yeah,
It's like,
because I think we didn't want to be taken seriously.
It was just being funny.
Yeah, because I feel if you have an air of seriousness to you, it's kind of cringe. Like,
Yeah.
you're full of yourself.
Yeah,
in a
you
way.
take yourself
Somehow
too serious.
it kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't take
That's
yourself
why
too
I try to not to
seriously.
get hung up. We play a live show and then the song we didn't perform it like we did at practice, and who the hell cares?
Yeah. You're just doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So who influences you, Will?
I'm gonna shoot you in the head. When I'm writing bass lines, I kind of take my main influence, especially when I first started playing bass, was Peter Hook from Joy Division. Was definitely level terrace guitar.
that's a good
Shadow
one.
play. I know, right? Yeah,
Oh,
Caleb. Right,
shit.
Never
Gary?
listened
You
to
agree,
any
motherfucker?
song in full.
Huh?
Never listened to any Joy Division song in
You
full.
listen to No
They're
Pleasures. It'll change your
blasphemy.
fucking life.
I really don't think so, but continue.
I'm a punk elitist.
I'm not an elitist at all. I said I like Blink.
Hit
Whatever.
junkies.
Where are you? But anyways, side eye.
I can't do all this
Definitely
no
Peter
more.
Hook from Joy Division. Nick O'Malley
Yes.
from the Arctic
Yes.
Monkeys. Whatever the fuck his name is from Chick, the funk, CHIC, the funk band. It's like good times. I already said that. But, who else? Let me ponder for a second.
Pondering the award.
Definitely the Strokes. Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of encapsulates it with those couple bands. But yeah, Mr. McCovey, your drumming.
What's funny? It's really funny because before I was playing a lot of punk and metal shit, in high school I played in a jazz band.
Hell yeah.
Which I think that's probably where I got like the quick wrist movement from, but it's just really funny to me. And I didn't really listen. I've listened to jazz a lot, but it's not a primary genre that I'm like real obsessed with. I've been mostly inspired for punk drumming through like any punk or like harder core bands from the 70s through 70s, 80s punk. Less so the 70s. I just more like how it sounds. Some of them it's kind of catchy, but 80s is where I really get inspired for my style, because the drums in the Minor Threat album are like that is like chef's kiss to me. Like that's what's really inspired me is drumming like that, and like this band called Ultraviolent from England, and bands like Suicidal Tendencies, just their sheer speed and just aggressive.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Yeah, and just the big hi-hat, that hi-hat ring that all those songs have is just insane. And that's what I really want to capture, is like that true old school hardcore sound. And then also it's inspired with songs like, it's like into the 90s and 2000s. I love the skate punk and the pop punk stuff like you were talking about. Always been into that. And it's just kind of a mismatch of anything from the 70s to the 2000s has kind of inspired my drumming.
I think, honestly, after I started playing for a punk band, it kind of opened my eyes to a different sound, especially. I mean, preach that punk's mentality, but in my opinion, there's kind of a sound to it that, anti-conformist, whatever. And it really got me into emo music, ironically, early emo music, like Rites of Spring and all that good stuff.
Good shit.
But yeah, or One Last Wish, which is the dude from Rites of Spring, really got me into that band and kind of just got me down a rabbit hole of that type of vocal style and really influenced my other band, which was like alternative indie pop low-key. And it kind of sent me on a different track and opened my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, I think for how punk music inspires me musically, power chords, fast, very energetic. How it inspires me philosophically, I guess, is philosophically, council of,
Council of
but as much as it allows an individualism that I actually like, instead of meritocracy, type individualism that's really bad. It allows you to like be yourself, I suppose.
Rock and roll is about being yourself.
Yeah, I
Very
guess.
much like a self-expression genre.
Yeah.
I think, especially when it comes down to songwriting, I feel like I could write a song about anything, and it doesn't really matter. Like DRI, they have a song, I'd Rather Be Sleeping, and I love that song. It's so simple. It's right there in the title. You'd just rather be sleeping.
Like War with
It's
General
just
Public's
perfect.
about a young boy's emotional message to McDonald's manager.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much.
Yeah, I wrote that one about my old job.
And I can't lie, the fucking same shit. Is that the title, or did it have more? I don't remember.
Working in the service industry is just like...
It was, I work at Carl's Jr., so like it was literally like, if you listen to the lyrics, I talk about like needing more water bottles, and it was because like I opened one morning, or no, I never opened. Fuck the openers. I close.
Whoa.
I'm a
Some
closer.
serious shade
I'm
being
sorry,
thrown, hey.
but openers, I think it's just because they're tired and they're whiny, but they be complaining for shit
Show
that we
some
don't
class
complain
solidarity.
as a closer. I'm just saying, when people come in and nothing's stocked as a closer, I don't complain to the openers, but when they have everything there, but they don't got some water bottles, they come to me saying I need to do my job better. That's my beef.
Here, I'll take it. It's part of, like, my identity, because like Caleb was saying, it's very much a genre where you can be yourself.
Yeah, I think being on stage and playing punk music, still fuck up and be yourself, and no one will like.
Yeah, and it's fun.
I literally
care.
at
It's
Blondie's I
fun.
started spinning on the floor. My bass came unplugged.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Peace,
people start cheering
Blondies.
harder when I
Yeah.
got unplugged.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you do
Yeah.
stupid shit that elitists
Yeah,
would
they-
think is bad on
People
paper.
like it.
Yeah,
Or like, they think it's, at least it seems funny.
and punk is the avenue to do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely just that genre where it's just like, that's why I like it so much. It's just like, it's a fuck you to just every social norm that you're sick of. That stupid, as it always has been, like, ingrained in your memory, like how they try to teach you in fucking school about like how shit is. It's just all a facade, and it's nice to just have a genre and an outlet to break through the facade of society, because that facade wears on you after a long time.
Facade of Society, next BDR.
I can't say
Facade
that
of Society.
punk is my identity. I feel like it's more, I don't know, like a passion, I guess, in a way. Like, I feel, it makes me feel like just really good. How else can I say it? But I love doing it and everything, but I wouldn't say like I go about my day-to-day life trying to be punk or whatnot or or something. Like, it's not something that I ever really think about. I guess it's just something that I do. You know,
So punk, you don't even think
I don't
about
know.
it.
It's like,
It's just innate for you.
you know, like how you joined the band and you had the whole thing. Oh, now I gotta dress punk. Like, I've never even like that's not crossed my
What was
mind.
it like,
I just kind of
actually,
like,
like, I gotta
no.
dress punk?
Just no, because like it is kind of a thing to where everybody is. There's people who will be like, oh, you know, you're like a
have-
fucking poser.
I have
Some
Or
people-
name 3
some-
bands on
I-
this T-shirt or whatever.
Exactly.
I have
There
a-
are people like that, and so I've never ever tried to be like, oh, I want to prove them wrong or anything. I was just like, fucking wear what I want to wear, and I do like I like the punk like haircuts. Like I would say I have one, but it wasn't like, I just think that it was really cool, and so I wanted to put it on myself, you know. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was wanting to have their own bodies be art. That's why they got tattoos and piercings and cool hairstyles, and they dress themselves the way they want to dress. And I do think that I take that to heart. Like I'll dress however I want. Wow, that was cigarette smoke right in my mouth. It's okay. I took a right when it happened.
You got a buzz.
Yeah. You know? But I do take that to my heart. Like when I do want to dress myself, you know, I don't ever let somebody else's conjecture or their opinion of what they have. Because, you know, people put labels on it and stuff. I went to high school with a mohawk before, and then, like, people would talk about me in the back of the class, a little snickering. And for some reason, it never fazed me. I just kind of, like, I don't know. I did get, like, you know, pissed off at the people, but then I'm, like, think about it, like, right after, and I'm like, oh, I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want to do. Like, at the end of the day, I'm doing what I want to do. So that's how I think I can relate
That's
to that.
like the main carryaway of punk is like, it's just be you and don't feel bad about it, because like everyone's so absolutely different from one another, and it's nice to have a place where it's like, yeah, we're all different, but we're just here to have fun and just try to exist in the place we were given at this time and just try to peacefully live out our days. 80s hardcore. Most definitely.
Okay, so 70s has like that good clean guitar,
It
very
does.
very nice, more
It's like more like radio friendly.
but those songs still have merit because they are fun to listen to.
Yeah,
but then you go into
and
like
fundamental too. I feel
Yeah.
like you can't go from what we have, what we enjoy the most, without having that.
That's what started it all.
yeah, and then that evolved into the cool early 80s scenes that
Yeah.
has like Black Flag and shit, and they're really fucking good, but you can
Lasted
only
for 2 years only.
yeah until then you get in the mid 80s where like Bad Religion was bringing a keyboard on stage, but
more post-hardcore, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like shit
But
like
also
SOD.
in New York, there's the New York hardcore scene going on
Yep,
there that's
New York hardcore.
influencing crossover, having like mixing metal and punk together, and that's also a really good genre.
It is. It's a really good crossover. Is awesome.
Yeah, as SOD as horrible and like racist as they probably are, their music is fire.
Dude, that song about milk.
Yeah, I want milk. I want some milk. But then,
And that's why I love punk, because I could write a song about wanting milk, and I just think that's so funny.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
but then
Yeah.
it goes into the.
was a Pepsi.
I feel like bands like Bad Religion and NoFX brought in the skate punk era of the early '90s, where it wasn't that popish, but it still had the really good
It was
melodic
catchy,
shit.
yeah,
It was
and
catchy. The choruses were catchy as fuck, but a lot of the verses were still really punk
Yeah,
and
and
really
it's
good.
yeah.
and they had really good drumming with like double kick.
Yeah.
And then that turns into pop punk, which it's more.
a creature of its own.
Yeah, but I still like it.
Yeah,
but
I do too. I
Cassie,
love
I
it.
don't think.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just that some of the singing, like when it comes to specifically vocals, they can get under my skin. Like when they're a little like, sometimes I think people are too whiny.
Where are you?
But Tom
I'm
DeLonge.
so sorry.
But then,
That's
but then,
fire.
like,
Along.
but it's also like, it's not something I wouldn't listen to. It's just something to where I wouldn't ever like kind of like draw inspiration from, I guess, typically, you know. But you know, I can jam out to. I'd much rather have all of that stuff playing than to be at some party and they're playing like whatever.
Keef.
Yeah,
Bitches
so,
love
like,
Sosa.
I'm
That's my
totally,
favorite
I'm
song.
not against it. It's just that my heart lies in the LA scene of the 80s. You know, the Germs and it's just like that whole, like, we got everybody was just going really hard at that time. You know,
Yeah, Darby
suicidal
Crash went a little
tendencies,
too hard.
Yeah.
You know, that's true.
Does anyone have a BO? Like he always
When
said that
the
a lot.
cocaine was BR.
when drugs were.
And
Yeah.
like one of my biggest inspirations in music at all, I can't believe I even mentioned her, is Joan Jett. She's like one of my hugest icons. So whenever she went down to there and then she explored that scene, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. And so then I did it too. I explored it, and it was awesome. But not like her, obviously.
If anything, we can be compared to X because of the
X is
layout
fucking
of it.
cool. I love
yeah,
it.
Like the new name for Twitter?
No.
Like Los Angeles.
that
Yeah,
LA
X has
band.
Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and that's it for me.
Oh come on, that whole
Yeah.
album
Hey,
is a good
Nausea's pretty good.
I haven't listened to it, but
okay,
I
it's
feel like a
okay.
lot of those bands, like Germs, they released one great album with like 2 good songs, like Lexicon Devil and Lexicon Devil, I guess.
That's another really good one.
And but they're
Lexicon
really
Devil.
good live. That was the thing about that era is they were really good
Lexicon Devil.
live.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think the beauty comes from, and that's why I kind of am really enjoying the scene right now is the live.
Yeah.
The live shows are so.
Especially in Eureka, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it. I have yet to explore any other really the live scenes. But.
No,
Yeah.
humble venues and shows here are getting insane. we're doing like wacky
true, I
shit, but other bands
the Seance
have
House?
used Image Pit.
The Seance
is another
House.
thing.
Yeah.
Like things like Image Pit are like the crazy stuff that's coming up now too.
Oh,
It's like-
God. But yeah, my problem with early 80s hardcore bands is like the Adolescents. They have their great self-titled album, then dog shit. They never do anything good after like 82. That's my problem.
Yeah.
But then you just gotta like immerse yourself and only listen to the same album over and over and over and over.
But then you
again.
hate that album, like Suicidal
See,
Tendencies.
Minor
They have
Threat
one
did
good
it
album.
right. They broke up
That's not
right
true.
after their only album.
That's
Yeah.
They did it. They did it the right way.
Let's just make a shoegaze album for our next album.
No.
Yeah.
true. Oh, wait,
Like Title Fight.
do you have a favorite era of the punk music? Personally,
Oh, probably the 80s, mid 80s.
yeah. Just stuff
Oh,
with
the emotional
Yellow Tube.
hardcore?
Emotional.
Like
Emotional
Rites of
hardcore
Spring.
only consists
The
of
DC emo
DC
hardcore, emotional
whatever the fuck
hardcore.
the copy
yeah,
was.
the
Well, you
stupid
mentioned
copy
Joy Division, so I
pasta.
feel like you like the post punk a lot.
Oh my
right?
god, I could talk about post punk for a million
Yeah,
years.
and that counts.
What's the reason punk still exists in your opinion?
Because people are mad.
Yeah.
No, it's
People are always mad.
it's evergreen in my opinion. You can make a punk song that sounds like a song from '82 that has the same energy, the same message, the same hardcoreness, but it's not dated in a sense. A lot
Yeah.
of genres become dated.
It has a lot of the material.
But
Yeah, you can't like
Punk
if
is
somebody was trying
evergreen.
to be like Backstreet Boys again, it would sound like ew. It sounds like the Backstreet Boys. No, I'm
yeah,
saying,
you know, like
because
it's very much evolved with the times.
yeah, exactly. You can't really escape being from that time when hearing like that certain type of music, you know. But I feel like it, no matter like, there's always been it in a way. Like, there was even bands that still like embody the same sound coming out in the 2000s. They're just like not as popular because that's when the scene really hit off. It just kind of needs to settle, and everybody will still love it, and then it'll come back, you know, and everybody can pick their inspiration where it comes from, you know.
especially with the age of the internet, allows a lot of
Exactly.
genre
Like you could explore,
dispersity.
yeah.
Most definitely allows.
Like you can like easy.
That's why I do think it did get brought back. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's because we were able to look back.
Yeah, it's just such an ever-evolving genre.
That too.
It's just like it's a timeless thing because it's always gonna be. There's always gonna be a reason to write a punk song. Like you'll never run out of reasons to write punk songs, no matter how much time passes. Like, yeah, I agree. Some of the subjects have been outdated from the old material, but if you're doing that now, still, you're just bringing new material to it, which is an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to just keep adding to a formula that can always just be added to.
Do you guys have anything you want to add before we end?
Hot takes.
So
Hot
like
takes.
Hot
Ooh.
takes.
the first two Weezer albums aren't that bad. I'll say it.
Ferociously hot takes.
Ferociously.
Um,
I don't know. Do we have like any like hopes for our second EP?
gonna
oh,
be
okay.
fucking killer.
Shit, we're gonna release is so fire. Yeah, blah blah blah.
I was just curious.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.